Smyth, thanks Chris, and thank you everyone for coming. It's so great to see poetry still brings people in to listen and to perform, and it's such a great thing when you get your first performance and you get that thrill of some sort of recognition. Sometimes I go to southwest Ireland to write, and it takes me 3 days to get rid of London. First days in the Caha Mountains. What does this stillness do to the body? Incremental expansion like chocolate weight. The green puts its mouth down to the water. Thin drifts come to blue the high lake's window. Eyes stretch to a 20-mile grey harmony. Sky shifts like music, the self following. Luxurious air creams out to meet space. Eyes made alert to movement and noise ease up to drink the silence, but don't yet. Distant intentions wander into purple. This is also inspired by landscape, with the landscape of the body, and I was thinking about kind of Israel-Palestine, but also about the taboo of touching someone and then the great excess of touching, and then you're back to the taboo afterwards. It's a weird thing. Borders and territories. Territory. Blood rush that makes mountains walk, the cunt's atlas wettening, cragged, pushy nipple hand, a cup that drinks its first each time, soft white hill, sand breast, bird foot tracking from one to the other to be fair. Melt that was pelvis, thighs rowing rapids to a shore to just reach and reach again. Eyes bring themselves to open, volition washing the sockets, nerve releasing face from skin. How did we once do this to one another without thinking? And this is sort of connected to looking at the past and Henri Bergson's idea of the past going on as this continual present that you have. And sometimes I think when you stop being with someone, the film of you keeps continuing, and it's a really hideous thing, not being able to stop that damn cinema. So this is kind of trying to give you tips. How do you go into it and stop it? My intended past. Memory re-enters from its separate life, enjoying that hot afternoon in Barcelona or the walk in Ard's forest last January. The trick is to slip into the fold that's there in its own present. Tell yourself they're just a couple in a corner of looking, sometimes smiling, often silent, and they're growing smaller, dimmer, making their way without you to cool off in the air-conditioned gallery, roll hot-footed in the inflatable bubble tent. See them come through the ancient Scots pines, identifying bark. See one always be the one to reach for the other's hand as they emerge onto the empty white beach. You crouched in the low dunes, watching the couple, unremembering what they're saying, the easy, soft speaking of inattention, the dailiness of trust and triumph, complete, open and expanding, while you turn away. Follow the blue arrow trail back to the rental car, reversing out of the spot, out of all the gazes you ever shared, back to the strong handshake, the first hello, the setting eyes, before the gaze came back, your future overgrown in its stare. I don't know if younger people know this phrase, she doesn't hold a candle to you, hold a candle. It's like holding up a torch for someone. I don't think they're used anymore. Maybe it's like hold up a text message with you. I don't know what it is now, but hold a candle to her. After a long wait, she holds her tongue a taper, flaring shocks from my spine, legs tart and tangible, body of tallow full of wicks, all alight. My chest is loaded, smoking her kiss. I elevate in excess heat, soaring up to my head, while the earth's pull on each tendon crumples me in a honeyed vortex, fattened and sleek. She tugs up my skirt, pleasure swayed, fingers the rolled ivory gap of stockings, lust vibrating her to make a woman make that sound. I wear the base splendor of her consent. Oh, to be so welcomed into a body, all its needs laid out in their own knowledge, and to meet with hands old ceremony this new banquet. Molten, we hold each other up, eyes closing in another country, opening outside time, the same drugged flame in our mouths. This is a kind of long-ish series of sonnets. I was in a residency in Switzerland, and on one side there are all these fields of vineyards, which I don't know anything about. They seem to be totally self-functioning, but someone had cropped them and cut them radically. And then on the other side were all these polytunnels full of fruit, again, that was watered invisibly. And I got very obsessed with fields and new kinds of agriculture. And I was also reading a great collection by Louise Glick called Averno. And in one of her poems, she asks, what will you do when it's your turn in the field with the god? 6 given fields. Lust. When he rushed me off the road to the field, I forgot clothes, food, all kindness. Lies grew out of me, cover-ups, alibis. We tore through the crops, insensate to harm, terrorized by scent, flat out in mud sheets, limbs of leaves glazed. We bent down at the cob to enter us better. We furrowed each other with the vision of futurist desecrated chapels blown off, family taught with return to a random start, where cells clarify, float in a cry, and the soft boned body splits into memory, giving birth to first form, all the white walls of time collapsing, left interspatial on the seric of this. Love. Forget the field, he said. Empty your pockets, throw away everything with your name on it. My heart ran faster after colour and taste. See that wall, he said? I did. It was beautiful. A painting on water. It moved and stayed still. It reflected me as I'd never appeared. He taught me to worship it. Then he said, go up and stand with your face against it. I did. The nearer I got, the longer I stood, the duller it grew. I flamed and dropped. Dust, peeling skin, stains of human and dog. I wept for our wall. That's what he was after, said. In tears, we are strongest, purest matter. I licked my cheeks, purchased binoculars. Art. He whistled Telemann below my veranda, waved a flag of hay to spend in the wind, knew how rain fell among camels of straw, dreamt a caravanserai to vanquish my airspace. Crouching like nudes in a closet-free circus, we wrestled the light into bone and sepulchre, made vorticist love in trains across country, singing Brecht from windows of Eve Klein blue. He slowed down the speed and thickness of light till holes in the head were slashes in canvas, and the glad in the glade rivered 39 greens. I was arable in his white framing hand, those scorched by too much of the rail, would pass their burning air by the field to be cooled. Patriarchy. He holds my elbow still, trying to usher me up the aisles of his fields. He grips my wrist when I speak with too much vigour at dinner. He thinks I've done nothing, been no one. He's surrounded by statues, can't be budged. If only I'd take his name, keep to home and heels. He has names for women like me, uses them in the bar, then in my face. He paid me to take care of his children so he could fuck me at the end of his garden. I followed the red of his cigarette, wore his wife's dress. First it smelt of sugar, then baked, it blackened to smoke. My hair never grew back. I hide it. He prefers that. And there are just two more. This is actually kind of autobiographical because the last one was my au pair experience, and this is my experience working as a poet in residence in a weird corporation, which I felt totally corrupted by. So anyway, so interesting. Money. Poetry is one of the things like funerals and weddings that isn't affected by the recession at all. We never had any money and we're never going to get any money. So, you know, it's thriving. Poetry is thriving. It's great. Money. In that field, I rarely had to turn up. I was video phoned in my court shoe neckline, my quirkless beads as I unfolded my desk, lit up my terminal, and my fingers bled so I could be human. Life expectancy whizzed in a file to the head of Risk, who used two replies, okay or stop. I ate my lips in alien buffets, fell under his table of mortality, slipped in meetings to Hong Kong in overchaired meetings. He rode his limo. I took the dawn train among a world of fish I'd never known. I merged with a wallet full of new teeth, powdered traces of avarice under my nails. Age. When he called from the field, I pretended I couldn't hear, straightened up, widened my eyes, ignored his Prosecco, his dark walnut liqueur. He read me Jack Gilbert Wisława Szymborska, said why not go down to the Rhone, swim in its water, so milk green you'd think it was ice, melted glass. He led me into the purple vibration cicadas make in the dark, said, here is one, the rush of the river, the rustle of leaves, lie down in the stubble and be entered by sky. He sat still with me till I knew that this body is it, is not it, is all, is nothing, that the field will change its colour and texture, and we'll see clear to Mont Blanc once the leaves fall. Thank you very much.